Hello, this is Tim, and I don't know how many of you were watching television the other day with the interview of Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, on Good Morning Britain, the thing with Ben Shepherd and Susanna Reid. Now, these two interviewers, just stupendous, top of their game, and they were both interviewing the Chancellor, so that must have been quite intimidating for him. They were talking about international aid, which is disturbingly being cut, but they were also talking about the nearly 3 million people who fall outside the government remit for support. Most of these people are self-employed. That's I think Ben said it was 9% of the workforce. Now, there's two organisations which are drawing attention to this problem. One is called Exclude UK and the other one is called Forgotten Limited. And in the course of the interview, the Chancellor said that he'd already been in touch with the team. Now, what has emerged is that Exclude UK is quite clear that the Chancellor and his team have not been in touch with their team. So this seems to me to be untrue. This is very disturbing. Now, this is really the point, because I wonder, I like to see things in the best possible light, and I wonder if the Chancellor is in fact doing something rather clever, and he's drawing on a form of grammar which I rather like. It's called the proleptic present, and you find it very nicely in the middle of the Shakespeare play Macbeth. And when something is so certain, you can use the present tense to describe it. So in Macbeth, Macbeth sends his assassins to kill his enemy, and there's a young boy on stage, and he has his throat slit or something, and he says, "Mother, I am dead." Well, clearly he's not dead at that point, because he's still able to speak and to vocalize, but his death is inevitable. So he can use the proleptic present. Now, let's hope that Rishi Sunak's conviction that his team was already speaking to Exclude UK or Forgotten Limited, so certain that they were speaking that in fact he could take that as a fact. It could be described in the present tense, or indeed even in the past tense, although it has not yet happened. Let's hope that is the case. As far as foreign aid is concerned, it was again described on the same programme as an easy hit. The thing which is much more worrying is that it breaks a manifesto commitment. Now, even if situations change, you know, Macmillan says that politics is all about events, dear boy. Even if situations change, we have to be very, very careful about breaking a manifesto commitment. Why? Events may change. We may be in a position where we cannot keep all the manifesto commitments. However, there is an understanding in Parliament that something that is in the manifesto will be allowed to go through both chambers of the Houses of Parliament. If we now see a Chancellor saying, well, actually, it may have been in the manifesto, but hey, events change, maybe people can now question what is in the manifesto in Parliament at every level. That changes the game. That changes the game dramatically. So, whether this is a grammatical issue, or whether it's a political issue, or a moral issue, or an ethical issue, we have to wait and see. I don't think it's something that should be dismissed. So, there we are. Thoughts for Monday as we begin a new week. Have fun. Oh, no, there is one more thing. Panto. Some of the pantos have already started, but they seem to be rather limp rather limp presentation under COVID rules. Now, congratulations on theatres even getting that far. However, something which I think historically has sort of been forgotten is that certainly in the 1950s, and I think even until the early 1960s, the Palladium pantomime particularly would start on Christmas Eve and would go all the way through until Easter. So the idea of having pantomime after the COVID vaccination has been rolled out is not an unthinkable option. The idea that we have to we have to have pantomime at Christmas, this is a modern idea, and maybe it's time to gently push the clock back, because pantomime has huge impact on the way our theatres are run. This is the show that brings in the money. It's also a show that demonstrates how wonderful and how exciting theatre can be for younger children, and it introduces them to the magic of theatre. So I think we need to be very careful about selling people second-rate, trimmed-down pantomime when in fact there are other options. So, thank you very much.